Yeah, so this idea of, what the cost of beauty, what we create out of it, what some people do to achieve that idea of beauty. I wanted to capture that, just creating layers out of the story. And then I wanted to create some imagery that spoke to, connections, embraces. There's one particular piece called Embrace, where, this idea of, fatherhood, how I've seen myself just, changing for, I guess, not a guess, so we'll probably edit it out. Changing definitely for the good in terms of my relation and my connection to people, and how I've sort of softened with my daughters coming around and coming along and growing, and sort of seeing them grow, and the attention, affection, and things that they need from me. There was a time where I wasn't the type of person who could provide that, but I think art as a whole has allowed me to grow and shape myself into somebody who can provide that need. And it took time, it took struggle, it took a lot of sort of inner thoughts. It took a lot of just looking at the innocence of these little girls and them looking to me, and they have a need, and I have to provide that need, whether I know how or whether I don't. But I'm gonna have to learn. I'm gonna have to change and adapt to be that person that they need.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's talk specifically about these. I mean, I'll insert them later on, but these particular ones with the frames. Explain the framework, or if there's any stories behind the frames, or even hidden stories about some of these pieces. I don't know if you want to share all of that, but I thought it was interesting. Little detail. And the reason, sorry to cut you, but the reason why I want to bring it up, and this is why I think I love the title of your show so much, is because we live in an Instagram world where a lot of what we're seeing is polished, it's curated, we're seeing the final product.
Right.
And it's very rare that creatives want to share the aspects of the struggle, but the struggle is where the story is.
Definitely.
And I think if you tell some of how these pieces came to be, I hope it would be a inspiration to some artist that is watching, or creative person in any way, shape, or form, to be like, you know what? Oh, okay. So when I'm starting out, things can just be like I'm starting out. It doesn't. Right. I don't start at the end. I start at the beginning. So why don't you tell us about maybe some of the frames and maybe some of the hidden gems and struggle in some of the pieces?
Oh, for sure. So we'll start with the frames, or we'll backtrack a little bit. So part of my creative process is taking something that's old or cast away, for instance. I used to live in one particular community, and people would just throw away from it. Want to pause and close the door?
It's closed.
Oh, it's closed. That's funny. It's like playing basketball outside.
I don't know what was happening there.
Yeah. So I used to live in this community, and people would literally just take what they considered old artwork in their space. Let's say they're moving, and they'll just chuck it in the garbage or leaning against a wall because they don't want to move with it. And those are my happiest days. I'll see it from my window. I was like, yes. I go get it, and I sort of guessel over it and recreate something out of that. And I think a lot of the times, especially as you're growing as an artist, they'll tell you, okay, well, you can't use that particular canvas, or, there's this stigma about, if now we got level 1, level 2, level 3 frames. If you're not using level 3, then you're not a top artist, right? So I fell into that for a while, where it's like, okay, well, no, I need to get the best canvases, and and I guess it was just an access of resource at the time. But when those resources start to diminish, and you don't have those resources to sort of purchase
You don't have the resources to purchase the resources.
Right. You don't have that to purchase anything like that, or to get your work framed in a way that you feel sort of adds elements to the work that you created, right? So a lot of these frames and things like that, they were things that were given to me. Some of the things were cast away. I had a neighbor that said, "Hey, we see you moving art all the time. We have like these old things in the garage. You want them?" And I was just like, "Yes, I'll take that. Two. I'll take all of them." And then I was just like, "Okay, well, what can I create from this?" Where I was sort of looking at the imagery of what's behind it, and then I started just playing around with coloring over it, and then try to capture something out of that. And then that's where some of these ideas came into being. So some of it is sort of just me painting over something, but I wanted to have a bit of that little peekaboo moment where it's like, okay, well, what was behind this, right? Or was there something behind this? So I liked the color thing there's color scheme that was happening behind it. I love the ruggedness of the some of the background or the imagery that was coming out of it. And I think a lot of times what happens is artists forget about the explorative side of creativity. You know how we get this idea that we got to create something that's polished, or we got to create something, and maybe that's just me as an artist, that's who I am. I just feel like there's just so much more fun and learning in the process of it. I love to showcase, I love to have the finished work, but I thoroughly enjoy the creative side of exploration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, as you say that too, I think, I don't want to give away too much of your sauce or anything, but, and I think you've done this in other series, bodies of work that you have, the idea of painting over one of your own pieces, or starting one way and then maybe pivoting in the same direction, but being honest with yourself and just an honesty of, this is, I thought I was going somewhere with this, and I'm going to go a different direction. Like, I think sometimes as creative people, we get caught up in, because I started this one way, I have to continue. And what I like about these particular pieces, and now that I've gotten you've shared with me some of the backstory, and now you share with the rest of us, that you've actually maybe pivoted, you switched up minor details that maybe only you would know. But all of these things, I'm diving deep into this because I've now been around a lot of artists, and some artists get so particular and are afraid to even pivot an inch out of the way, but so then they don't share anything. And then it's a vicious cycle from there.
Right.
So for everybody who's watching, just know that it's art. Very rare are there mistakes that the audience knows. And if it's a mistake, you could always hit them, well, that was my opinion at the time. I was going for that.
I was going for that.
So
funny you mentioned.
Yeah. But yeah, that's amazing. I'm trying to think. I want to maybe we've touched on it throughout. This is a through line, I guess, for probably every interview you'll probably ever do, at least with me anyway, is figuration, because that's how we met before that, but then you kind of let me in, and we've been doing that, or I've been coming and helping out for 4 or 5 years now. Yeah. I don't know, since I started Canvas Invaders, that was basically as soon as we did that first initial interview, you said, come to the next one. I was like, okay,
yeah,
I will. But yeah, I just want to reiterate the community building, and I want to touch on it and make sure people understand, because Toronto's such an interesting city, full of talent. I think we could do, and this is me projecting, I'll admit, But because I go to a lot of different things, I connect with a lot of different artists. I think we could do a little bit better in supporting artists supporting each other.
Right.
And I don't even mean financially. I mean like just showing up.
Showing up, yeah.
So just maybe this is not a figuration question. Just maybe. I mean, you're a facilitator. You also assist with another company that does a lot of installations in the city for corporates, venues. So you are also plugged into other people's work and where their work, other artists' work, and where that work is being showcased.
Right.
What are some? I don't want you to say what improvements are, but what are some things you're noticing? How do I phrase this? What are some ways that we can, as an art community, and I'll be a little bit more specific, within the Black art community, that we can show up for each other? If that's a thing. Maybe I missed a mark, maybe they are. I obviously can't go to everyone's thing, and I don't have access or knowledge of everybody doing art on every level, but what are some ways that the Black art community can just maybe firm up the community or build up the community, if it's a thing? Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
Right. I think for me, and we've touched on this over the years, just like conversation wise, it's like, I think for me, I guess realizing that it is okay to go to an artist show and support them, right? I think a lot of the times it's they fall into this idea of who they feel that they can support, right? And I think the reality or the disconnect is, the answer is everyone, right?
Yes.
I think a lot of times comes to, okay, well, if I support this artist, then maybe I can't support this artist, or let me see what this artist is doing before I claim fanhood. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So I've seen that over the years. But for me, I think part of what we can definitely do is we can show up for each other. We can provide each other with connections, and I think that's part of initially what I wanted to do with Figuration. It was really a networking event disguised as a life drawing event. So I wanted to create a space where people can come out and feel free, and part of that is really around this idea of, are you still an artist if you're not creating right now, right? So for myself, this entire exhibition, on and off, it took me a year to create. I've never been one of those artists that can sit and paint for hours on end.
Plus, you got two little ones.
Definitely.
I won't allow for that.
And I've never been a night owl. So
I like to sleep.
Some artists, the kids go to bed and they can paint till morning. It's never really been me. But I think that this reality that you can show up for each other, but you can also really encapsulate this idea that you're still an artist if right now you're not creating. So that's part of what I wanted to create with Figuration, was this idea that you have this space, you have this platform, and it's completely open to how you feel you want to create today, right? So we have artists who are focused in different mediums: painting, drawing, sculpture, all different types of the arts. And then you'll have some creatives who come out and it's like, I'm a little nervous, I haven't created in a while, but now they're seeing this happening around them and they're beginning to become inspired. Or my hope is that they become inspired by the creativity around them. And I think that it also allows for this opportunity to realize that there's different ways and things that you can explore that now encourage, or I guess the best word would be jumpstart your creativity again. So we've had quite a few different artists, who say, "Hey, I haven't done this since high school, or I haven't done this in 20 years, or I do this every day, but I'm trying to find the love for it again, so it's not just me just going through the motions.
Yeah.
We get all different types of stories, and I think that what we definitely need to do is ensure that we are providing a platform instead of gatekeeping a platform for creators.
Yeah, that's it. And if that doesn't work, there's wine.
There's Matus wine.
There's Matus wine.